What's up, YouTube? Welcome to You So Shiesty, and boy, do we have a show tonight. We have Dan Bilzerian talking to Brad Lee on his podcast, and he's swinging at Israel, just swinging. Wow! Without further ado, let's get into it.
The house. What's up, Dan?
Not too much, man. Let's see if we can get your podcast canceled.
Let's see if we can smoke it. It just got big enough to freaking get you, and now we're going to freaking kill it in one fail episode. All right. So normally, I don't prepare questions, but for you, I did, only because, I didn't want to forget to ask these questions because I know we'll just shoot the shit and then you'll leave and I'll be like, fuck, I didn't ask him this. I didn't ask him that.
Yeah.
So it seems you're a lot more political these days. What's causing that?
Well, I wrote the book and I think I kind of like stepped away from the hedonism a little bit and then I backslid, went back into it again. But I realized that it was kind of like not my thing. I mean, it was my thing for a long time, but you can only eat Snickers bars for so long before you get sick of Snickers.
Yeah, politics suck. I mean, but unfortunately, we don't have a choice. Everybody's got to keep an eye on politics this day and age, Doesn't matter what age bracket you're in, what race. We should all be paying attention to politics. This is our country.
And I just started kind of like looking at what was going on in Israel after October 7th. And I found out about the USS Liberty as an ex-veteran. That pissed me off. And
is the USS Liberty where they're the only country that ever attacked us and we didn't do shit about it?
Pretty much. I mean, and they had, done attacks before that. There was the Levant affair where they bombed U.S. cinemas and British cinemas and was going to, plan on blaming that on the Muslim Brotherhood. And so you look.
It's like, Moija, did they say U.S. Navy on the ship? No, I'm not saying U.S. Navy. That I don't see that. I sorry. I so sorry. I don't mean to blow you up 20 times. I sorry.
Look at this, like,
yeah, right.
These series of false flag attacks. And I just, for me, it's like if somebody lies to me one time, I don't trust the motherfucker, and this is like way beyond a lie. If you kill my citizens and then, for the attempt of.
Bro, if you shit in my Cheerios, it's done. It's done. Don't even look at me. You know what I mean? It's completely done. I'll never talk to you again. You fucking shit or piss in my Cheerios, and that's it, bro. That's it. That's the line. I'm drawing it in the sand right now. Drawing it.
Blaming it on somebody else. Like, that is such a violation of trust and such an act of war. Like, if they would just say, fuck you, we're attacking you because we want this land or whatever, at least that would be somewhat forthcoming and, we could deal with that and then we could make peace after. To me, it's like, if somebody lies to me and attacks me, to blame it on somebody else, I can never forget about being allies. I can never even make peace with that person. And so that was a big one. I was like, how the fuck are we allies of this country that we should be at war with? And then I started seeing just this.
Yeah, listen to Dan Bilzerian, man. Don't fuck me from behind. Fuck me right in my face.
Unabashed support of our politicians for Israel on every fucking subject. And it didn't seem to matter. They were just like unwavering. And I started looking into it. And it was one of those things where I was just like, it can't be this bad. I did the research and, I was right. It wasn't that bad. It was fucking way worse.
Way worse.
Every time I did the research, it was way worse. And so, yeah, I finally, I spoke publicly about it. And my brother was like, they're going to kill you. It's, you can't say this, whatever. And from that point, like, I just got massively attacked by that community. And that, pushed me further and further down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. And, yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a bit consuming. So
how has it affected your businesses?
Well, they kicked me off the board of my company. I'm in multiple lawsuits with them. My business manager tried.
Well, my own personal business is no longer fucking with me. They just kicked me right off the board. And then everybody sued me. They all just, these lawsuits just came in from nowhere. Just bam, just smacking me in my face. And then the lawyers that I had representing me, they just railroaded me. They were Jewish and they railroaded me, right into the fucking ground. And from that point, I lost everything, guys, But no, seriously, really, we're in America, and this man's opinions, his business was affected, his personal life. He's got lawsuits going on. He's got a whole bunch of heat on his name. I mean, where are we? Where are we? Is this America? Are we in America?
To extort me, my lawyer's like,
or is this Israel number 2? You know, what are we living in right here? What is this? What is life?
literally fucked up my case. And they cited the reason was because they didn't want to defend my tweets. Literally, they're Jewish and they didn't want to defend my tweets. So they like had an oppression case filed as my company instead of myself, because they filed as myself. They said that they would have to defend my tweet. So they acknowledged like literal malpractice.
Unreal.
But for some reason, when Jews do this stuff, it's okay. If a Muslim were to do that, it would be like fucking terrorism, hands across America, this fucking asshole jihadist, this, that, and the other. But if a Jew does it, well, he's just, you know, he's protecting himself.
Yeah.
That
makes sense. Yeah. You know?
Man, I'll tell you, like, where do you get your research? Because like,
Lee's like, what the fuck?
I'm listening. I saw a couple of your interviews and I'm like, shit, I didn't know that. Shit, I didn't know that. Where are you getting your information?
I mean, a lot of it's straight from the source. I mean, I get a lot from like Israel's, you know, Times of Israel, Haaretz, you know, actually like USS Liberty is directly from the mouth of the survivors, right? They've done multiple podcasts. They were on, Candace Owens. They were on,
well, there's several influences. I just checked this out on ChatGPT. There are several influences. There's several Israeli influences tied to ChatGPT. They don't necessarily own it, supposedly, right? I forget the actual name of the company, ChatGPT, but there's several ties to Israel concerning ChatGPT. So don't try and ask Chat anything about Israel because it's definitely heavily moderated and one-sided. And every time you get personal and start digging, you try and go down a wormhole and a rabbit hole and try and figure this out. Chat will tell you that you can't answer the question. So, you know, I just recently was on here doing this, messing around. You can't get much, but if you rephrase your questions, you can find what you're looking for.
oh, what the fuck's that guy's name?
Pierce.
The Navy SEAL. Well, they're on Pierce too. Jocko's, you know, I listened to like an hour and a half of, you know, them on Jocko. And yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, their story, the official story. I mean, this is not conspiracy theory. Like, we acknowledge that it happened. I mean, they took the life refs as, you know, as souvenirs, you know, they were like proud of this. They knew it was a US ship. It's not like,
did they claim it?
They had to have known. I mean, have you seen our US ships? The American flag hanging off the bow, the big letters on the side saying U.S. Navy. I mean, there's no mistaking that. I don't give a shit who you are. You could be a blind man and still read that.
Wasn't?
I mean, dude, this was in the middle of the day. And like, I was in the Navy for 4 years. Like, I've been on a ship, you know, I sailed across the Pacific, the whole thing. You don't mistake a fucking ship in the middle of the day. You don't attack it for an hour and a half with like multiple planes, an attack helicopter, torpedo vessel. You know what I mean? Like, all these different people attacking this ship, and it's clearly says USS Liberty on it.
Absolutely.
You know, big flag flying, hull and stern. Like, it's not like one of these mistaken identities where it's like, oh, it could be a fishing boat, it could be a drug boat. It's like, no, this is a fucking US warship. And yeah, they were trying to sink it and they want to drag us into the war. You know,
when was this?
This was in, I think it was 1967.
Yeah. So what was their explanation? How do we cover that up?
Well, they said mistaken identity. And, you know, the president is like, we don't want to embarrass our greatest ally. They asked for a battleship to go with them. And the U.S. is like, well, we have an aircraft carrier right beside you. If anything happens, you know, because
this is because our politicians go over there and put their hand on that stone wall. And they they get their dual citizenship and their Israeli bank accounts, and you know, it doesn't matter what these guys do. They're never in the wrong. It's apparently, you know, because they run America. You know, Israel owns us at this point. You know, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. They own us, and it's sad that we've been sold out like this, guys.
It was kind of like considered a war zone, and they called the carrier and they deployed aircraft, and then they turned the aircraft around and they allowed the
unacceptable and highly treasonous. It's just, it should be treason. You know, anybody with dual citizenship, should immediately have to cut by law. They passed a law. I can't remember the name of it, but they passed a law in 2024 stating that any politician with dual citizenship had to they had to be put into a database and made available, the information made available to the public. So we were supposed to get a list of all of these politicians with dual citizenship, but there's so many. This is 2024. We're now in 2026. There's so many of them. This is such a powerful thing that it's still, after 2 years, has not been made available to the public. How many of them politicians do you think are guilty of this?
These soldiers to be killed because they didn't want to embarrass Israel. So
I wish I had a fucking crystal ball to know what's fact and what's not, because it seems to be factual. Like, because I've looked into that.
When you guys saw Trump, when he was on the news placing his hand on that wall, did you guys say to yourself, that's weird. Why is he doing that? You know, that when I seen him doing that, like early on in his presidency, that was a telltale sign to me that things aren't going to go well.
And I couldn't
they don't
believe
dispute it. Like, Israel doesn't dispute that they, attacked the ship, so it's not.
But what was their purpose?
Well, they said it was a mistaken identity, but that's just bullshit.
Who'd they think we were?
I mean, yeah, exactly. Like, who did they think? Like, who is it supposed to be? Like, it's just nonsense.
I'm sorry. I thought that was Iran.
Yeah, like, no, and they were attacking Egypt, and Egypt's ships don't look like our ships. Like, I don't even know if they had a navy at the time.
So, do you think, bottom line, like, our country's in some sort of frickin' coup, or not a coup, but more like, are we fucking ran by Israel?
I feel like we're occupied.
Damn right.
I do. And I feel like all of our politicians, and you see how they vote. I mean, it's like
this is a 50, 60, 70 year plan where they integrated themselves into every aspect of America. That's what this is. They are into everything. The banking, the stocks, the corporations, and their co-founders, founders. They're into everything. Our real estate. They damn near own the internet. They got Google. They got ChatGPT. They got Amazon. Anything you could think of, they're tied to somehow. And then, did you see Netanyahu talking about his number one priority right now is to buy TikTok? If he buys, I'm telling you, his number one priority is to buy TikTok. And did you see the way he said it? Go check that out when you get done here. You'll see what I'm talking about.
We have veterans. We have Americans starving. We have people that, can't get surgeries, and we're sending hundreds of billions of dollars to foreign countries to fight wars that have nothing to do with us.
Mm-hmm.
And like, International Criminal Court has indicted Netanyahu, and all we do is support him. It's like, why not let him
give his ass up,
go to trial? Like, what does that have to do with us? Why do we have to we act like Israel is so critical for everything for us. And what have they done? They've stolen our uranium. They've sold our secrets. They've spied on us. We've caught them spying on us so many times. Like, they were celebrating.
They've created a safety net, everything. They've integrated themselves in so tightly, right? So well. I mean, it's a strategic plan, and it worked. They've integrated in so damn well into our society that it's almost like a necessity now. And the politicians and all of them believe that everything would fail without them. That's how heavily influenced the state of Israel is in America.
September 11th, like, they have, the dancing Israelis. I don't know if you saw that, but they're like literally videotaping it, taking pictures of the lighter, like laughing.
False flag operations since the 70s on record. So what else are they responsible for, honestly?
As our buildings are getting blown up because they know that we're going to go to war to fight their enemies. And, Netanyahu testified in front of Congress that they had weapons of mass destruction. It was total bullshit. We got dragged into another war for the benefit of Israel. I mean, Netanyahu lined out all the countries that he wanted us to attack. And, we've gone to war with most of those countries. So, and, it's all been a disaster.
Do you think they have pictures of our politicians, but fucking goats, or what?
No, I think it's children. And I don't think they have pictures. I think they have videos. I think that's what Epstein Island was about, and I think if I want to control somebody and I have a video of him fucking
Epstein, he was a Israeli asset.
12-year-old boy, he's going to do whatever I say till the day he dies.
Yeah, but who do they have?
a double agent of or something like that.
Those videos of.
Well, look at who went down there, right? Like all
But they're not in power anymore.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Trump is supposed to be on those files. Trump's donors are supposed to be on those files, you know?
Release the files.
At some point, you would think someone would get into office and be like, enough's enough.
Yeah. Right?
Well, but if they don't let anybody into office that isn't compromised, then they
they're all compromised, unfortunately.
can't really do that, right? I feel like JFK was kind of the last guy that said, fuck you. I mean, he wrote to Ben Gurion and said, we're going to inspect your nuclear program.
And JFK pulled the boys out of NAM, pulled them out of NAM. And shortly after that.
And, you know, we're not going to have this runaround anymore.
They told him not to. But, you know, he's like, why do we have our Americans dying over there? You know, it makes no sense. They're dying for a cause a reason, you know, we don't believe in. Let's pull them out. And they told him not to, and he did it anyways. Good for him. You know, the boys came back, and, you know, you can't go against the dark figures that are pulling the strings. You just can't. And Israel is a part of that.
More. And immediately Ben Gurion resigns and JFK gets killed. He was also going to make AIPAC, which was at the time the Zionist lobby or whatever, register under FARA. And then immediately the guy's dead. So,
and now the news is out that it wasn't that dude from the library. Or
how bizarre is that the Alphabet Gang took out a president? I mean, it's mind blowing to think that an agency here had something to do with that. I don't know who's truly responsible and what exactly happened. It's before my time, right? And it's not like I could do anything about it anyways. But when you start digging, it's just bizarre. It's mind blowing. It really is that it's something like that could happen. It's an inside job. You know, something like that can happen here in America.
Everybody
what do you
knows
call
greatest
it?
country in the world.
I mean,
What was it called? He was shooting from the.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
what's it called? The fucking that building.
I don't know. I mean, I just know the story was this magic bullet that kind of like went around and bounced around, and you know.
Did you ever see the video where the frickin' driver turns around and you can see it straight as day?
I did see that. It did kind of look strange. It's hard to know.
Well, they're driving along.
Yeah, they say there's 2, maybe even 3 different shooters. So who knows what really happened?
And I'm telling you, I've seen this a bunch of times. I saw it once, told people about it. They're like, I've never seen that. And then it surfaced again. So I saved it. I'm like, see?
Yeah.
But it looks like the driver goes like this. Pop.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Oh, wow.
And you see his skull go flap. Now, again, I'm no ballistics expert, but if you're shot in the back of the head, I wouldn't think that it flies backwards.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
The exit wound is the one that.
Yeah, and then if you look at Jackie, she jumps up and starts to head out of the vehicle. The story says, no, she was reaching for his brain, a piece of his brain.
No.
And that's why she was trying to get out. Who the fuck would reach for a part of a brain if your husband just got shot in the face and it peeled his cap back and there's brain on the car? Would you go grab it? Nobody would go grab it. She was trying to get out of the vehicle.
Yeah, and she was
just
going out the back. Yeah, which is
oh shit, honey. A piece of your brain over there. I'm going to go get it. No.
Kind of crazy.
And then the rest of them kept her on there.